European green transition is developing green economy assets in Europe. Its most recent news has focused on the results from its maiden drill program at its Olserum rare earth element project in Sweden. To talk about that asset and the rest of the portfolio and the business strategy, I'm delighted to be joined by the Chief Executive, Aidan Lavelle, and Chief Financial Officer, Jack Kelly. So, Jack, I'm going to start with you because the company is very focused on M&A. That's the business strategy. So can you give us a brief overview of the company's plans in this regard?
Yeah, I can, of course, Sarah, and thank you for having us. So, I think as we stated at IPO, there's a very strong M&A focus to this business. We're looking at a number of businesses and really just scale this quickly. So, we're not a mining company. I think we've been clear about that since IPO. And the current exploration stage assets we have at the moment, we're looking to spin these off and monetize these. So Aidan can talk you through that in a few minutes. But back to the M&A, our management team have had a significant track record of growing and scaling businesses through M&A on AIM. Our largest shareholder and co-founder is Cathal Friel, who's done this successfully across a number of companies, including Amaret Pharma and hVivo PLC. So with European green transition, the key M&A focus, is we're targeting businesses in the wider green space and the green economy with a few key criteria. So first of all, it has to be a revenue generating business. It has to be either profitable now or there be a clear pathway towards near-term profitability. We're not looking at any businesses with any technical or development risk. We don't want to be bringing be the first people to bring a product or a specific type of project to the market. We want to steer well clear of that. And we want to make sure that the business has minimal capex requirements. Again, we don't want to be taking on something that we will be coming back to the market every 12 or 18 months to raise substantial funds. So we really want to get our hands on a business in the green space that we can grow rapidly and add a few more little bolt-ons to it to ultimately generate a business that's delivering profitability and cash flow generation for our shareholders.
Okay, so let's talk about the the projects that you do have, Aidan. And the most recent update outlined the initial results provided strong validation of the Olserum project's district scale potential. So, in terms of size and scope, what does district scale mean, and what is unique about the Olserum asset?
Yeah, we're quite pleased with the initial results from Olserum. The drilling we did, where we released the first holes, was up to 2.5 kilometers away from the historic Olserum resource. So it shows that we have a much bigger system. We hit mineralization on the shear zones, which validated our new geological model and structural model. We have more results to come over the coming weeks, and hopefully all results will be released by Christmas. And we also have a partner called a neighbor called Ragnar Metals, who are also finding a lot of rare earth mineralization on land contiguous to our permits. So we really do see an emerging district scale rare earth system at Olserum. And the things that are unique about Olserum is the really excellent infrastructure. It's really well located on commercial forestry land. It's very close to a railway. And we have very good stakeholder communications with people in the area. And one of the other key positives is the mineralogy, which is amenable to processing. And so what we have is minerals called monazite and xenotime, and they are phosphate minerals. They are routinely processed elsewhere, so it's not a difficult mineralogy to deal with. It's a really positive feature, and our preliminary metallurgy that we released in July, sorry, does show that, and it shows that the minerals can be processed at third-party plants as well. So there's a lot of positives for Olserum and a lot of unique selling points, I suppose.
I'm just wondering if that was a Freudian slip, though, Aidan. You talked about your neighbours and then you said partners. So do you think there's any partnership potential with your neighbour, or was it just a slip of the tongue?
Yeah, well, we are talking to them. There is potential there, but obviously we need to put all the results on the table, and when we have all our drill results, we can reach out to all the parties again that we've already been talking to.
So, as you said, the rest of the results are due before year end, hopefully, and will help, I assume, the monetization of the project. So, I'm just wondering, at this stage, is there enough data about Olserum to attract a partner?
Yeah, there's plenty of data. All our work to date has been around de-risking that. So we've done the mapping, the sampling, the drilling. We've shown the district scale potential. We have the preliminary metallurgy, which was really positive. And yeah, I think we feel now that there is enough data to de-risk it, and for a partner to see that and see the potential. And we're also very fortunate to have a potentially large, fully permanent drill program. So an incoming partner can get straight into infill drilling on the resource. We're permitted to do infill drilling up until the end of August 2026. So a lot of positives to the project, and a lot of de-risking done over the past few months since the IPO.
So speaking of positives, Jack, I'm just wondering, should you get that partner, would the partner supply the finance and EGT operate the business?
Yeah, look, I think ultimately the goal is to get someone to come in and to finance it and operate it. I think we're very willing to offer support and guidance to these parties. I think Aidan and the team have a really strong knowledge of the overall project and some of the work they've done, and they can really add value to someone to some partner to take it on to the next level. I think a key thing in any deal is, we're going to be looking to get a carried interest, whether whatever form that takes, whether it be a royalty or milestone payments down the line. But ultimately, as part of that, we'll really want to see that the project to be successful in someone else's hands. So we're willing to support them, and ultimately, for us to achieve those milestone payments or royalty in the future, and deliver value for our shareholders.
I'm just wondering, though, an option is a sale. And if there is a sale, then that would represent a one-off sum on the balance sheet, possibly. So where would the revenue generation come from beyond Olserum or beyond a sale?
Yeah, so look, I think if we sell the Olserum asset, obviously there will be, if it's sold for cash, great, that hits our balance sheet and gives us, more firepower to go ahead and actually execute on our M&A strategy of bringing in these revenue generating businesses. Ultimately, there could be a component of equity in any deal that we do on the Olserum asset. And again, that comes to the point where, we'll have hopefully a structured plan to sell down that equity with the partner that we partner with on the Olserum asset. Again, to ultimately get cash onto our balance sheet and deliver returns for our shareholders.
And Jack, if I may commandeer a bit more of your time, please, because shareholders have been told about the amount of due diligence that the company is taking in terms of its options for a copper tailings recycling project in Cyprus, and the development of a peatland carbon sink program, and in turn, the generation of carbon credits in the Alton farm in Donegal. How are these progressing?
And so we took option agreements on both projects, and the option agreement works, really well for us because it gives us time over the option period to actually see how we build this business and get it towards generating revenue in the near term, which is the goal. So first, I'll touch on the Cyprus copper tailings recycling project. So, the first set of results for that project came through in the summer. They were very encouraging. They showed that there is copper at surface, and they proved what we thought was in place. So at the moment, we're working towards doing a sort of pilot water testing scheme. So that, that's what that will be the next stage of diligence. It will really be probably the largest bit of diligence we'll do on the project. And at the moment, we're working with a number of the key stakeholders in Cyprus to really understand how we put that together while maintaining, the capital light model that we're looking to implement with it. I think again, it's critical on the Cyprus project to reference that, once we've done the work on the water rehabilitation testing, that there's a significant solar opportunity here, and we're working with a number of parties in Cyprus and a number of the key stakeholders to ultimately see how we position that down the line. And I think, we've been clear before, but just to reiterate it, it's not something we won't be, looking to build the site ourselves, but it's really to work with an experienced solar provider or operator and hopefully retain a carried interest once we've rehabilitated the site. On the carbon credit project, that again is developing quite quickly. So what we're looking to do is sort of replicate some of the successes that we've seen in Scotland in terms of generating carbon credits, biodiversity credits, and water credits in the peatland in Scotland. In Ireland, there's the new Irish peatland code is about to be implemented and will be launched in H1 next year, all going well. And with that, you'll have a government supported and sponsored body which will be able to oversee the management, the reporting, the verification of these credits, which is a significant point. I think we're all aware of the I guess some of the scandals or transparency issues with carbon credits, particularly in the voluntary credit market. So that's obviously a concern for corporates who are looking to acquire these credits as they move towards their net zero goals. But ultimately they're fearful of being accused of greenwashing. So we feel aligning ourselves to this code will really enable us to position our projects as premium projects, and ultimately, hopefully, that will be reflected in the pricing.
Okay, so Jack, carbon credits, copper, EGT, also looking at rare earth elements. So what else are you looking at? What else is on the radar?
Yeah, so I think we're pretty open to a number of things across the green space. We're looking at businesses that are offering sort of support services to the infrastructure assets that have long-term revenue, recurring revenue contracts. But it comes back to the key criteria that we have is that it needs to be a revenue generating business. It needs to have a clear pathway to profitability. There needs to be no technical or development risk at all. And ultimately, we're not looking to acquire anything that's going to need significant capital expenditures. So it's really, a capital light business that we can scale through M&A through the public markets.
Okay, so Aidan, thank you for your patience, because the company floated on AIM in April this year, 2024. Has the board achieved what it wanted to within this first calendar year of listing?
Yeah, we've been busy. We've achieved what we wanted to in Olserum with our drill permitting and scout drilling and preliminary metallurgy. So very pleased with de-risking of that and ready now to talk to partners once we get our final results. And then also the two option agreements that Jack has talked through. We've given ourselves a year on those to really look into them further and figure out which one is the best for revenue potential. And in the interim, Jack has also been talking to a lot of other people, and we've been reviewing a lot of other potential opportunities. So yeah, we've been busy and setting the stage for the second year where we hope to achieve those goals of being revenue generating.
So finally, Jack, is an AIM listing enough? Is a dual listing being considered to take on a wider capital pool and accelerate the development of the portfolio?
No, we're not currently considering that. At the moment, we have sufficient cash on our balance sheet to support our M&A efforts. And then, we also have the exploration assets that myself and Aidan are working very hard to monetize, and hopefully that will add further resources to the balance sheet. The AIM market is a market we know very well. We have experience across a range of companies. So, we really like AIM, and we think it's a great place to be, and it's more than sufficient for us for the time being anyway.
Many thanks, Jack Kelly. Aidan Lavelle of European Green Transition, thank you very much indeed for joining us today.